All right, guys, we're on right now, and I have a special guest and an inspirational young entrepreneur. I heard her on Clubhouse, and I was like, you know what? We got to share her story because she was super awesome in what she was presenting and who she is as an individual. Her name is Kellina Powell. She is a young entrepreneur who loves to help people with their personal growth and educate others about the deaf community. Little do people know that Kellina is hard of hearing person, and she became deaf at the age of 4. And hopefully you'll share with us that little walk in that journey. And she said she recently graduated with a degree in psychology and is now starting her own online business, coaching business, while finishing her book. Welcome, Kellina. I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes, and I want, if you could please, share with our audience your spirit of just going for it, doing it. And I know we're gonna talk about you cannot help others if they can't help themselves. I understand that, but give us a little background of your story. I know I just did a little bio, but can you give us a little background, please?
Yes, for sure. So for me, I'm a deaf advocate on Clubhouse, Instagram, Twitter, and I am a young entrepreneur. I'm super young. People be like, wait, how young are you? I'm actually 23 years old, and I am from Canada, Toronto, which is pretty cool.
Oh, Canada.
And yeah, and I am finally starting my next journey of my new life, opening up my own coaching business, starting my book, and being out there and actually help other people who have a disability like myself and actually make the change in the world.
Wow. And you said that I guess your family was found out that you started getting hearing loss at the age of 4. So
Yeah.
how, I mean, but with you and that fact that you were hard of hearing, what was that journey like with you and your parents and people around you?
It was very challenging. It's a roller coaster every single day. As soon I found out I was deaf at the age of 4, it was all because you guys may wonder how it all happened. It actually started with an ear infection. Mm-hmm. And so my doctor prescribed me an ear drop. I went to the daycare with it. And the daycare, who knows what happened and what they did. To this day, we don't know what happened. There's 2 options. 1, they put out the wrong timing. 2, they put too much in my ears. So that day when I went home, my ear dropped to drop.
Wow.
Yes. And my mom was a young mom, actually. She was furious. Like, didn't know what to do. She called my grandmother. She was actually a nurse. And luckily, my grandmother was a nurse. She was able to actually walk my mom through this stuff. And so my mom called my grandmother panicking, like, Mom, she can't hear me. Kellina can't hear me. Like, she was crying. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? It was so funny. And then, but the thing is, I didn't realize that my hearing was actually dropped because I was looking at my mom confused, like, why is she crying? How come I can't hear that she's crying? And so my grandmother rushed home from work to figure out what was going on. And then my grandmother said, oh my God, you were not lying. She's actually deaf. And so the next day we went to my family doctor. My family doctor said it's too late. Her hearing is gone. And so there's nothing we can do. So from there, my doctor prescribed us to, not prescribed, but my doctor assigned us to an audiologist down the street from us just to see like how bad it did I lose my hearing from one ear drop, like, right? And it was super bad to the point where, for those who know how to read the hearing testing, so my hearing was at the bottom of the line, which means I have no hearing at all. And it was just kind of crazy. So my mom said, are you kidding me? What am I supposed to do? There's no deaf person in the family. And so I'm actually the first person in my family that is deaf and someone that have a disability. So for me alone, being the only person that is deaf in the hearing family, it was really challenging because we have to learn how to communicate. So that was a whole different area, the path that we had to learn from. And so there's a lot of things my mom had to question, like, should we teach Kellina how to do sign language? Should we teach her how to speak? What are the ways that we could do? But because my mom was a young mom, she was in college at the time.
Oh.
And so luckily she was able to go to the disability service in school and she asked them questions. And it turned out to be that there was a deaf school that was like 15 minutes away from me. And so my mom just put me in a deaf school for half day. And that way, the half day I'll be in the hand school so that I learn how to communicate with two community, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, it was a little difficult because I was two different person. Like I was one person, I'm like this person, the next person, and it's just weird. I felt like I would like, I don't know, I had too much split personality. It was weird. And
It happens to all of us, you know, split personality.
yeah, it was just crazy. And so when I got older, fast forward now, getting older, so I had a lot of few challenges, especially, you know, friendship and dating life, education, you know, actually doing things on my own, being independent, not having to rely on my family members to come with me because I'm deaf. So it was really tough. It was a really huge challenging, but I couldn't ask for better support and better family than I had because my family literally taught me how to be really strong and how to be independent. And so, yeah.
Man, I can only imagine because, you know, growing up as a child, it is difficult as it is anyway.
Exactly, it is.
You know, dealing with the egos, dealing with, you know, oh, I want to be like that person or whatever the case may be. Or, oh, maybe, hey, you know, they got it, you know, the latest fashions and whatever. And then having to deal with a disability. But I'm so encouraged that your mom, from what you said, and you're telling us that she didn't give up, you know?
No, she didn't.
And how much was that to you, seeing that she did not give up on not, I don't want to say treating you, but not giving up on you as an individual?
It means so much to me because it's not just my mom that gave up on me, but also to my grandmother, who I actually lost last year. And so if it wasn't for my grandma and my aunt and my mom to teach me how to be this strong, I don't think I would get to this far in life in terms of being the type of personality I have, like being outgoing, being able to speak to the hearing community, because, you know, a lot of people who are from the hard of hearing community or who are deaf don't feel comfortable going to a hearing community, where my family was actually the first person, I would say, to teach me how to be okay in the hearing community and not be afraid to speak to them. Because for me, I get a lot of anxiety when I talk to a lot of people who are hearing until this day because I am super nervous. You know, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know. And they're like, really? But you're such a social. I know, but it's just the back of my head. It just, I get that little anxiety. I talk really fast too. Like people would know when I'm super nervous when I talk super fast. They're like, okay, you're talking fast. We know you're nervous. And so when I got older, and that's what it was. And I feel like my mom learned that if you just treat your child just a normal disability child, how you expect them to grow when they're by themselves, especially if they're 18 and up, how you expect them to grow. So that was the one thing that my mom always kind of like spoke to me about. Now that I'm getting older, now that I'm understanding how she got through this. And of course, my grandma was a nurse. She knew what she had to do. My grandma said, okay, cleaning to go do this, cleaning to do this, you know. So it was literally like my grandma was like on my mom, you know, all the time. Like, hey, da, 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 da.
Yep.
And, you know, my mom was young too. My mom was young. So she, oh my God, like, you know. So, but my mom knew right at the start when she had me, was when she found out I was deaf, she's like, I'm not going to treat Kellina any different. I'm going to treat her like a normal person. And till this day, my mom still does too.
That's good. Yeah, because, you know, moms, they're going to be treating us the same way. My mom still treats me like a little kid, even though I'm 47. Yeah. But you know what? That's good. You know, they earned the right to do that a long time ago. So for people that are new to the deaf community, what could you tell them? Like, hey, if you want to support us, or if you find out that one of your friends or your coworkers or somebody that you encounter is deaf, what are some of the things you could tell them? Hey, look, you know what? This is what you need to do to make that other person feel like they're like you.
Exactly. The first thing is don't be afraid to ask questions. I know a lot of people get nervous asking questions, especially people who have a disability. I feel like I just want people to know when you ask such a question, especially myself, I feel like you actually are trying to help me in a sense of way. So that is like that with the other disability person. The second thing is, don't be afraid to be the friend. I know a lot of people can be a little nervous, like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing the wrong thing. Just go with the flow, take it step by step, don't rush it. And the third thing, ask them what is your favorite thing to do, but the one thing I always tell people is that do not assume that every deaf person can do sign language, like myself. I only know the basic sign language. I don't know the full sign language. So I noticed that a lot of people been doing that to me too, especially when I started working actually. And this one guy, oh my God, he thought I knew sign language. He's like, how am I supposed to communicate with you if I don't know how to sign? I'm like, who said I can sign? I never said that. And then so he's like, oh, my bad. And I said, no one said that. It was really funny, but a lot of people really do come across wrong a lot of times. But again, hey, I understand because we were never taught this in school. And that's the thing. School never teach us how to be more inclusive for people who are deaf, people who have any other disabilities. So it's kind of sad that people have to kind of actually learn things on the internet or learn things from someone else. And the other way to support somebody is, make sure you actually learn about the community before you even get into the community, definitely. And even like I recommend a lot of people to watch a show called Switch at Birth. It's a deaf show. It's an amazing show. It talks about so many deaf community working with the hearing community. It's really, really cool. I highly recommend a lot of people to watch that so that they have an idea what it's actually like in everyday life. And also to follow a couple of people who have a disability. There's a lot of people who's out there being advocates.
Oh, wow. You know what? You made such a good point that, you know what, it's okay to ask, and it's just, and to me, it's like, that goes with like any type of relationship. If you're curious or have a question about something that you might feel uncomfortable about, just ask with authenticity that you really want to know.
Exactly. If you really want to know, you can ask. Don't be afraid. I always tell people, do not be afraid. You guys know, ask me a question, and people always started that I don't want to ask a dumb question. There's no such thing as dumb question. You just didn't know. It's okay.
Exactly. You know what? And I hope you feel her heart about wanting to be an advocate and to show people that it's okay to ask. It's okay. We all have differences.
Exactly.
Some are more pronounced than others, but we all have differences, and it's okay to be curious. It's okay to ask. Sometimes I would even say it's okay to feel uncomfortable, because you felt uncomfortable too.
Exactly. All the time.
Yeah, and it's a normal human response. And if we understand that it's a normal human response, and just, okay, let's talk. Let's talk. I think a lot of things will go better in the world, But I'm excited to talk about, you're going into online coaching. Can you tell us a little bit about your online coaching that you're starting?
Yes, for sure. So my online coaching is I'll be helping people in terms of parents, teachers who have a child or know a child that is hard of hearing. So that's one part. So educational coaching. And the second one is going to be individual coaching, group coaching, and family coaching, just because family coaching is super important, because you don't really see that a lot with a child that have a disability with family. So it's very rare to see. And the second thing, individual, it's very important to have individual coaching with someone. And then the group, the reason why I love group is because I'm very antisocial. I'm not antisocial, but like I can be sometimes. But it just my community, especially deaf community, we can be really antisocial, and it'd be a great way for them to meet someone who is hard of hearing in another country or even another province or state. So it'd be really cool if they all can get together and actually talk about their experience. So that'd be really cool. For people wondering, like, how come I choose coaching business, it's because when I was growing up, I never met not one person who is deaf like myself. If you look online yourself, and if you type in deaf therapist, you would never see them. Like, there's not. There's very rare. You may see one or two, but there's no huge number. And just stuck because, you know, a lot of us, especially deaf community, feel like we can't go that far. And so that's why I wanted to teach the deaf community that you can go far. You may be different, but it doesn't mean it's not going to stop you from getting far.
Wow. No, that is great because, I mean, because of your background and history, you want to reach out to this community and actually bring coaching and education, not just to the community itself of the individuals, but the families. And you know what, I would even say businesses that might have people that are deaf, that have hard of hearing. How can they help their employees be more productive, get promotion, advance up within the organization? That is super awesome. That is super awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that is super awesome. And we'll talk more about that later, but offline. But your book, you said you're doing a book too. What is that all about? Oh, she's excited.
Oh my God, I love it. I love talking about my book. So my book is mixed with poetry, mixed with biography. So it's basically talking about my deaf experience and the hearing world.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a really strong book to read. I told a lot of people be ready. It may hurt a lot of, you know, deaf community or the hearing community, but it's realistic and it's reality. I told people I'm not gonna hide anything in the book, but it's something that needs to be heard. And I really want people to start reading these type of books, especially being more education on that. And my second book, I actually want to do a children's book. There's actually no deaf hard of hearing children's book at all. So if you look online, there's only probably 2 or 3 deaf hard of hearing children's books, and which is sad. It's just no, it's so wrong. I feel like there's so many, again, like there's so many needs to be improvement in the book industry and coaching industry as well, just to help people who have a disability.
Wow. And you're the right person for that job.
Thank you.
That is amazing. And I do, like I said, we're going to talk offline about a couple of things that I want to introduce you to, some communities that might help you advance what you're planning.
Yay, thank you.
So we talked about your story. We talked about how can someone approach you as an individual or another deaf person. But can you share with us a story of what you should not absolutely do or say? And I think you talked about it in one of your videos, but can you share with our community, like, look, don't do this, please.
Okay. The first thing is do not, okay, for me, my story, oh God, so a lot of time, everybody's gonna laugh in the audience, I'm not gonna laugh. So one of this person, I remember one time I was walking to the store, my hair was up in a ponytail. And the man came to me and he just like, hello, can you not hear me? And please do not shout. And he was yelling and I'm like, I can't hear you if you're yelling, okay? Like, shh. So like, because he thought I couldn't hear him stop. And I was like, oh my God, no. So that's a big no. Please do not yell at someone who's deaf. They're not gonna understand you. That's number 1. Number 2, do not assume too much when you see a deaf person. I feel like that is it's another one too. And the third thing is, if you're gonna be on social media, please use closed caption. Please do not summarize your story. I noticed a lot of people just summarize it, and I tell people don't do that, because how are you supposed to communicate with your audience that are deaf? right? And how you're supposed to communicate. It was just, I see a lot of people have been doing that lately on social media. So I've been speaking to a lot of people about that. And they're like, oh my God, really? And a lot of people didn't know I was following them. A lot of people didn't know I was that. And they follow my Instagram, and of course they supported me. And they were like, oh my God, yeah, we need to caption it now. And so, and another thing I want people to not do is, do not, when someone is deaf and they say, okay, pardon, please do not say never mind. That
Really?
is, yes, a lot. I get that a lot too myself. A lot of people always tell me, never mind, never mind. I tell you later. Don't do that.
Oh,
Yeah, that is really rude. If someone ever told another deaf person, not just me, but another deaf person that, oh, never mind, I'll tell you later, they would be they would feel disrespected. It's like, I'm deaf, so why would you say that to me? If, and if, let's say, for example, the person asks you pardon, speak a lot slower. Just be like, how are you? Or, no, this is what I mean, and then repeat consistently until they get it. But if you're that person that is, I don't care really. Just know that the deaf person study body language, especially myself. I study body language. I can tell when someone's ignored by me. I would be like, okay, bye.
wow, wow. That is interesting. Yes, I got to write. I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
Never say, never mind, or just,
Or I tell you later.
or I tell you later. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's another thing. Do not say, I know someone said this to me one time. He's like, oh my God, how deaf are you? Do not ask too much personal question about the hearing loss. Because it's very personal, right? If someone told you they're deaf, accept it, be like, okay, how can I help you? I know a lot of people keep saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. Instead of saying I'm sorry, say I am unaware. The reason for that is because when you tell somebody I am sorry, you're basically telling, especially myself, that you're sorry that I am deaf. Like, that's not what it is, right?
Ah,
So a lot of people don't realize. So just don't say I'm sorry. Instead of saying I'm sorry, say I am unaware.
wow, that's
Yeah.
powerful. That's
It is
powerful.
powerful. It is.
Wow.
It's very good.
Good. I remember you saying earlier about learning how to communicate again, and learning how to communicate appropriately. And that's powerful. That's powerful.
Oh yeah. So yes, it's very. A lot of people don't realize until I told them, and they're like, "Oh my God," and they don't realize that people don't realize the words you are using can affect someone every time. Especially the deaf community, we are a very sensitive community. We take things personal because we've been bullied so many times in our lives. And so that is why the I am sorry should not be there. And that's why I said it's better to use to say I am unaware.
I'm sorry. I got to write that down. So, wow. That is a powerful statement, because it is so true. We hear it all the time. We hear, like, people say it out of scriptures, that words have power, and we don't know sometimes how powerful even the small things that we take for granted, what we say, can affect the other individual. Because of their background, or because of their past hurts, pains, or things that may have occurred that will trigger hurt and pain in that individual. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is, you're taking me to another level here. Wow. That is so great. Guys, guys and gals, I hope you are hearing the gold, the mic drop, whatever you want to call it, that's coming from Kellina right now. Words have power. And especially if you're talking to someone who has a disability, that they've been bullied, and and it goes back to this: every human being has experienced something in their life, some on different levels and different agendas, whatever the case may be. But how we treat that individual, being unaware, man, you just brought, I'm gonna have to talk about this on another episode. Unaware. how are we unaware of that other individual's experiences or emotions or whatever? And then we come up with our own, you know, face or mask or whatever, what we're going through, and we just project on them. Wow, that is powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
My
sharing
pleasure.
that. Before we end, can you tell our audience how they can reach out to you and to find out more about you and follow you?
Yeah, for sure. I just don't want to give too much information because I know some people are like, hey, wait. So to stick by two. So one of them, you can reach out to me on Instagram, which is DevQueenBoss. And I have an email because I know a lot of people don't have social media, especially parents. So you guys can contact me by devqueenboss@gmail.com. And yeah, so that way it's kind of easier for everybody to find me. So yeah.
Yeah, and we will going to put that in the description of the podcast and in YouTube, because we're going to have it on YouTube as well. And thank you for reminding me about captions, because
No problem.
yeah, on my Instagram, I put captions on, but I find it hard to put captions in other places. But I need to find out, because you know, I want to make sure everybody can, you know, listen in, read it if they can't hear it, and enjoy the what we got, you know, because I talk about suicide prevention, mental health, all the leadership things that people need to know about. And, you know, this is Leader Talk, but your background and what you're doing, you're being a leader, and that's why you're on Leader Talk. And so again, guys, Kellina is super awesome, entrepreneur, leader in her community, and you know, teaching this old dog new tricks and what he needs to learn about leadership too, especially communication. Is there any last words that you have for our audience, Kellina?
I just want to say that please do not be afraid to reach out to anybody you need, because you never know how your voice can change in your life or someone's life. Please always use your voice, because trust me when I tell you this, there's a lot of people in the deaf community who do not speak and they are mute. They only do sign language. So please be grateful for your voice.
Man, that is so good. Oh, thank you so much, Kellina. And you know what? Hey, follow her, Deaf Queen Boss, at Deaf Queen Boss in Instagram, and we're going to put her email address in our captions, in our description below. Thank you guys for joining in, and thank you, Kellina, for coming on. Thank you so much.